go.
There we go, first working set. We'll try and get to 8 reps on 60.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike Thurston doing the voiceover for this video. The reason I'm doing a voiceover is because I have very little to say during a leg workout. By the time that I've recovered and I've got something to say, it's time to do another set. So I'm just going to talk you through this workout, tell you what we're doing, why we're doing it, and basically just trying to give you as many tips as I can. So as you can see, we're starting off with the barbell back squat. After you've done your warm-up sets, we're then trying to hit 8 reps for as heavy as possible. So don't completely kill yourself on the first set. We're not really looking to work upon strength on this one. We're working more towards the hypertrophy range, so we're hitting 4 sets of 8 and then we'll be moving on. Now, when I started training, I avoided doing legs as much as possible until I realized it's one of those things you really can't be missing out. That was mainly because I just didn't enjoy doing it. It is by far the most demanding workout which you will do, and it needs to be in order for you to see some, significant growth within that area. Now, I used to be not petrified, but I really did not enjoy doing squats because they're nasty. And one of the main reasons I didn't like doing them was because my flexibility and technique with squats was just so poor. So what I've really tried to do recently is just increase the frequency of how many times I'm squatting per week. And believe me, the more you squat, the better you will get it, and the more you will enjoy it. You won't massively enjoy it, but it becomes more, you can tolerate it more. A lot of people ask me, do you need squats in order to grow? Now, no, it completely depends on the individual. Okay, some people are naturally built to squat. Other people will have, a harder time, particularly those, it tends to be the taller guys. The guy I'm training with, Adam, he's about 6'6", and as you can see from the video, he has issues with keeping his back upright. So when your back comes further forward at the bottom of a squat, it basically means when you drive back up, you're going to be using a lot more of your lower back to pull that weight up, placing less tension on the quads. So something that's really improved with myself over the years is I can get deeper into the squat, and I can keep my spine more upright as I do so. So as I'm doing these deeper squats, I'm placing a lot more tension on the quads, which is, the main focus of this exercise for me. One of the things that has helped with my squat depth is obviously frequency of squatting, a little bit of flexibility work as well. But most importantly is the foot positioning. With a wider foot stance, it allows me to sink a little bit deeper into that squat. If I try to do it with a narrow stance, my feet close together, there's no chance I'll be able to do it properly. My spine would come way too far forward. So that's something to bear in mind. If you struggle to get deep within the squat, try changing up your foot positioning. Those that struggle to go deep often have to stand a little bit wider.
What's this set, Mike? What's this set?
Now we'll move on to 15 reps, higher rep. There's 120, hopefully I can do it.
So once we finish with the strength work, now we're just going to finish off the squats with some high rep stuff. This one we're aiming for 15 reps on as heavy a weight as possible. I've found training this style with higher reps, higher volume, the pump you get in your quads is crazy. And this I find really does help with promoting growth within the the lower body area. High rep stuff, short rest periods, and just pushing yourself till failure almost. It is demanding, it is challenging, but it's one of the things that you just got to suck up and do. And believe me, you are capable of pushing yourself harder than you think. You might think, oh no, there's no way I can get another 5 reps. If you had a gun to your head whilst you were squatting and someone said, look, you have to do 5 more reps, otherwise you're going to die, you would do everything in your power to get those 5 reps out. So I always try and push myself and imagine that my life does depend on it, because that is where you'll get the extra few reps out, and that is the extra few reps which will make a difference. So usually after I've just destroyed my quads, I will give them a little bit of a rest, let them recover, and I'll focus on some hamstring work. So what we're doing now is called a Glute Ham Raise, and I've set up the equipment, as you can see, to allow me to do this because we don't have this machine. And most gyms don't tend to have their Glute Ham Raise machine, so you have to use your imagination a little bit. This I've found is really good for strengthening and building the hamstrings. Now the goal with this exercise is to minimize any lower back work. So what we want to do is try not to hinge at the hip. Keep everything fixed. Slowly lower yourself down to the ground, and there's no way most people will be able to completely lower themselves all the way down and back up. So you're going to lower yourself down slowly as possible and lightly push yourself off the ground, contract your hamstrings, come all the way to the top of the movement, and when you're at that top position, squeeze your hamstrings as much as possible. Next exercise, we are going to do heavy heel elevated dumbbell squats. Now, the whole purpose and point behind your heels being elevated is so that you can keep your spine as upright as possible as you go deep into these squats. With an upright spine, this allows you to place more tension on the quads, which is the goal of this exercise. And as you can see, the way I'm doing them, I'm trying to maintain tension in the working muscle throughout the entire set. So as I come up to the top, I'm not locking out. I'm coming up and I'm trying to squeeze my quads temporarily before I sink back down into the movement and continue again and again and again until I've done the desired number of reps. To make things a little bit nasty, we're then going to superset that with goblet squats. So we're going to up the tempo a little bit and increase the number of reps. So again, I'm just sitting back into it, keeping my spine as upright as possible, just thinking about putting all of the tension onto my quads throughout the entire set. Yes, once again, this is nasty and it's just a mental game. Just trying to hit the desired number of reps which you've set yourself. So keep pushing, and this is just where you got to suck it up. Moving on, we went into another hamstring exercise just to give the quads a bit of a break. What I'm doing here is a dumbbell leg curl. Obviously, if you don't have access to a leg curl machine, it's ideal. But then again, it's also good to do along with the machine leg curl because the forces of the resistance do change when you are performing this movement. Usually if you're doing it with the machine, with a cable, the resistance it's consistent throughout, it doesn't change. However, when you're doing it with a dumbbell, you'll find the most difficult part of the movement is the first half of the rep. As you bring the dumbbell higher up to the top, it becomes a little bit easier. Now, because the resistance is relatively lighter at the top, you need to squeeze that contraction as hard as you can when you reach that position. Moving on to seated leg extensions. What I'm doing with this, obviously, trying to maintain tension on the quads as much as possible. So I will pull myself into the seat as hard as I possibly can and lean away from the bench so that I am really upright, over exaggerating the uprightness of my uprightness. Yeah? So pull the weight up slowly towards you, always under control. Squeeze the contractions as much as possible at the top. And what I always like to do if I'm training with a training partner, get them to assist me as it gets really, really hard, especially that top movement, so that I can get the weight all the way to the top, shorten my quads as much as possible, and squeeze that contraction hard. It's absolutely disgusting, but wow, it makes a difference. After we have done them, I'm going to do a nasty little superset with walking lunges. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to lift as heavy as possible as I would normally do with walking lunges, but I'm going to go for as heavy as possible with the 35s and going to aim for about 12 reps. So with this one, just keep your form as tight as possible. Keep your back, shoulders, arms fixed. Don't let the dumbbell swing and don't be wobbling all over the place. As I take a step forward, I'm sinking down. I'm not allowing my front foot to come off the ground. I'm keeping my heel pushed on the ground, and as I drive up, I'm thinking, right, I need to push up with my front leg. So drive up with that front leg. Don't try and assist to make it easier by letting your back leg do the work. You're just moving the tension away from the quad that's out in front of you, which is what we're trying to hit.
Finished. Thoughts? Overall thoughts?
Absolutely brutal. Highest volume workout for a while.
Yes.
Good though.
That's what you get when you train with Mike. Calories. So yeah, probably be sore for a few more days, and then as soon as we've recovered, it's time to do it all over again. That was, in my opinion, quite a quad-dominated workout, so the next one will be more hamstring dominant, or you know what, might even throw in 3 leg workouts this week. Do 1 ham dominant one, and then back to a quad ones at the end of the week, but we'll see how much damage this one has done.